Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. We're back.
Woo!
Boo, 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 boo. Did you enjoy your week off, Kano?
Overall, I did. It was busy. For those who don't know, I was well, I still technically am. I help work with a local theater group in my area in my county, and
Mm-hmm.
we put on a show. Last week as of the recording of this podcast, so technically 2 weeks before the release of this. I was helping to direct a production of
Wild.
Matilda, which was very, very fun. And my best part about it was that I got to run the lights for the show. So I had to program
Ooh.
them and everything, got to like make sure everything was good. So that was like my contribution, is that during the show, while all the actors are doing their acting, I'm sitting up there pressing buttons and I'm like dancing and singing to the songs and pressing buttons to make the things go cool. And so, yeah, so
That's
I
really
felt
fun.
yes, no, I thought it was very fun. There was a lot of stress moving up to the week, as would always
Mhm.
be the case, because as director, you have to be the one who's like in charge of making decisions about things. And so sometimes it can be overwhelming. And then I had some people on the team who kind of like were like they wanted to give their own say, and they kind of took over on certain things, and that bothered me a little bit. But we got through it. It was fine. We survived. It was a good week. So yeah. So
Yeah.
overall, last week that I was gone, I felt good.
Yeah, so because Kano was doing that, and I don't remember what I was doing, but I think I had something going on as well, but I don't remember what it is, and clearly it's not important. But we were like, let's do a break. So I don't know, it might be a thing of like every couple of episodes we might just take a break and we can catch up. And sometimes there's just not things to like quote unquote report on and talk about. We can talk about ourselves for 2 hours, but we do that on a stream enough. So I mean, like, we don't. We want to
Exactly.
keep it entertaining here. We want to like stick to a structure, if you will.
Yes.
So I'm glad that you are well. And we're back. We're back for a couple episodes. I hope you
Yay.
guys tell us you missed us, because my ego needs it. But we could get started talking about what we have for on the plate of tea time today.
Mhm.
Which, and this is crazy to say, Minecraft 1.20
Yep.
20
20.
is coming out soon.
Nuts.
Or it's out. The snapshot is out as of right
Yes,
now.
exactly. So people were able to play through it, and I mean, I remember a few weeks ago people
Not
were
final
posting
product,
about
obviously.
the Blossom Wood being the big thing. So like, oh, look at the
Oh my
Blossom
God.
Wood, you can have this, and it was so pretty.
I can't wait.
But the fact that now they've also unveiled everything, so they're basically saying like, this is what's going to be happening. This is everything we've got going on. So like, while we have the Blossom Wood, like you're also going to have like
Mhm.
armor trims. You're going to have the sniffer. You're going to have the
Mhm.
ability to hang your own signs. You can make better bookshelves. You can do more crafting with
Camels.
bamboo. You can do archaeology. Like,
There's gonna be
it's,
camels.
I know, like it's,
2 people can
it's,
ride a camel, and they're apparently like faster. I think they said that they're like as fast, if not faster, than like a horse. So it's like, what's the point in like getting a horse anymore? I mean, you
yeah.
get a
I think it's
camel.
also just like probably different practicalities, because I would assume
Yeah.
that camels probably can't jump.
Oh, maybe not. That's
Maybe.
true.
Again,
I don't
we
know.
have no idea, but I'm sure there's some differences between the two of them, because camels are
Yeah.
meant for like long treks across the desert. So,
I'm
you know,
excited for the hanging signs personally, because as
yeah.
some of you may know, I'm a builder in Minecraft. So like just getting hanging signs, like you could do
No.
so much with like I envision like building like an old Western style town, and then you have
Mhm.
like each hanging sign for like what it might be. Like you obviously just can't, you can write on them and you can't really put anything on them, but maybe you can get other cool stuff in the future. And bamboo is finally getting a new use.
Yeah.
With the armor customization, like what was it? Treading?
It's like trim, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently you can do all that, but netherite is going to be harder to get, which is
Right.
kind of annoying, because as someone who is not a nether like delving individual that goes after netherite, I already have bad enough luck when it comes to finding those little cinnamon rolls, but now if it's going to be even harder to find, I'm just like, diamond it is.
Yep.
But I think that like, because they really like started with the customization of like being able to dye your armor.
Right.
which I thought was cool, like the leather armor. So like everything else getting a variation is nice. I don't know, just like
Agreed.
it's like the little things, and like
Yeah.
obviously everyone's excited about the cherry blossom biome. I'm a big sucker for cherry blossoms, so yeah,
Yes. I mean,
they're
there's
so
just I
pretty.
don't know. There's so many cool pieces with this. I think the one thing I am mostly excited for, honestly, it's just like the bookshelves. It's gonna be so fun
Oh
because you can actually
yeah.
put books into bookshelves, books you've
Oh, that'll
written,
be nice.
and that's
Yeah.
gonna be so cool. Like that's just honestly the best thing
It
ever.
helps too because like you can use the bookshelves in the enchanting area, and then you take the book, and if you like say you're not using it or like you don't like it yet, you can like de-enchant it, but you can also just like put it away in the bookshelf, and then maybe you might need it later, and then it fills up the bookshelf and it looks really cool.
Hmm.
I think that's gonna be cool. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's they and today they announced what it's gonna be called, right? Weren't they taught like I was reading an article, which I'll link down
Hmm.
below, about how this was written like it was published on the 25th of February, so a little while, a little over a week ago by
Yeah.
now. Um, but they were talking about how they might not have named it because the last update that they named, people were like, "This doesn't fit." Like it. Oh, what do they name it? Let me bring it up. But if you want to say what they're gonna name it, you know.
Yeah. I mean, 1.20 is going to be named the Trails and Tales update. Which I think
Crazy.
is I honestly think it fits really well because it's about this idea of like, your goal is to tell more stories, go on more adventures. And so I'm like that like I think is really fitting. And so I think it's just I just like it. I like that a lot.
The article doesn't have it anymore, unfortunately. Rip
Alas.
pepperoni.
Big
Um,
pepperonis.
pepperoni, pepperoni. It's gone now, but I guess it doesn't matter because they have an official name, which is like I'm excited. I kinda don't see it, which is what like the article had talked about before of like naming it something that it might not be, but we'll just have to see, I guess. I don't
Hmm.
know. To I'm excited to see it. I haven't played the
Yes.
snapshot. I usually don't play snapshots. I kind of just wait until it's out and then go like, "Oh, I forgot it was coming out," and then just like go and
Right.
explore. It's like a brand new experience.
Yes. Something exciting.
Speaking of brand new experiences, humans and space are weird. Um,
Yes,
things
that is true, but it's
there's
also
some
cool.
there's some things that you just don't experience in your lifetime, and there's some things that you do experience in your lifetime. And one of those things is that I think it was as of recording this, it was last night or this morning.
Hmm.
You were able to see Jupiter and Venus in the sky at the same time, hanging out, being little
That's so
buddies.
cool. They're just
Yeah.
chilling.
It was at sunset on the western hemisphere, or like to the western horizon. Um and then when the sun set, you could see like the moon and then Jupiter and Venus, and they're just like hanging out, and they're just like they're kind of aligned, which like I think is so cool. I think I talked about this on my stream a bit briefly
Mm.
that like space I don't like to think about space too often because I get very existential of like how far it actually reaches. Like the fact
Mm.
that like we can see like the stars in our sky that we see at night are like 30 years before us or 30 years after us or like
Yeah.
hundreds of years. Like we see the star, but like in the star's lifespan, it's like it's in the future kind of.
Yeah.
And it's like that's so weird to think about. And like the fact that in space it takes you so long to like get anywhere, like it takes you what is it? Like 10 to 30 years to get to Jupiter or something like that. Like
It's
they
a
sent out
long time.
like a telescope um gosh, like 2 years now to get like high def pictures. Um they didn't send it out 2 years ago. They sent it out a
Yeah.
long time ago, but it arrived where it needed to a couple years ago, and they got some pretty nice pictures. Like it's the only word for it is just unfathomable. Like,
Yeah.
and I can't even say that word properly.
Unfathomable.
Unfathomable.
Unfathomable. Man, now you're making me so I can't say it either.
Unfathomable.
Unfathomable. Unfathomable.
It's so like it's just baffling. Like
Yeah.
that we are we are one planet within a solar system that circles around a big star, right? And
Mhm.
then we as a solar system are within the Milky Way galaxy. And then the Milky Way galaxy is within like another galaxy, within another galaxy, within another galaxy. And it just
Yeah.
like keeps going and going and going and going. And it's just like, will we ever be able to like actually get anywhere? Because like a lot of like, I mean, it's sci-fi and it's making it up, but like a lot of
Yeah.
people were like, yeah, by 2023, like we'll have like flying cars. Yeah, we don't. But like I don't keep up with like technology advancements.
Mhm.
Like I see when new like cool things come out or like when they talk about it and like in the medical field and like I see NASA's posts. I see NASA's posts like
Oh.
every yes, every so often, but like I don't really know what they're doing. I don't know what they know, you know? I feel
Yeah.
like they know a lot more than we know that they let on.
Oh, I'm sure because there's probably, again, they're doing a lot of research and studies into everything. And so
Mhm.
of course they're going to know a lot of information that's not necessarily being known publicly. Do I think it's all necessarily bad information they're withholding to be able to keep us all from panicking? No. I don't.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's just that when there's only so much and you've learned there's so much data that I'm sure they're compiling that they're probably like, "Oh yeah, this is this thing," that probably doesn't register
Mhm.
all that much for normal people. Um but yeah, no, for me, it is incredibly fascinating to think that there is a whole solar system out there. Like the fact that even like I look outside my window right now as we're recording this, and
Mhm.
I see like the sun shining
Mhm.
through, even though it's really cloudy, so there's no direct sunlight. But like the fact like the sun is so many millions of miles away,
Oh,
and
yeah.
our planet is fully lit, and if we stare at the sun from this distance, are we become blind? Like
Yeah.
that's so cool to think about. That like there's so many awesome things out there in the world and the universe that have been made that exist like this.
Like, how long it takes what is it? I think it takes, like doesn't it take, like, 2 or 3 days or, like, a full day or something like that to get to the moon? Like, it's not too long, but it's a while. But
Yeah.
that's only because, like, the moon is within, like, our gravitational reach or, like, the Earth's I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Don't take anything I have
Mm,
to say, like, to heart. But, like, it's close enough that we can access it, but I think it still takes, like, a little bit of time to get up there. And
right.
then that's, like, the fact that it's like, okay, well, like, the moon looks smaller than the sun does in our sky. And we can go because they are size-wise, but they're, like, almost similar in the sky, like, this when if you were to, like, put the sun in the like, during, like a lunar or solar eclipse, like, the moon looks like it's only a little bit smaller than the sun, but it is substantially smaller than the sun. But they're like
Yes.
this, they look like perspective wise, they look the
Yeah.
same in our sky, but like the sun is,
Yep.
like you said, millions of miles away. And it would take
Yeah.
like if we were to get any closer, like even if we were just to try and get to, I'm losing my mind. It's Mars that's ahead of us, right? Or is it,
In
no,
the
Venus.
like in this
How does it go? How
y-
does it? I haven't been in school for 10 years. Don't
it's
at
called
me.
you sing the Blues Clues song.
Oh,
The sun's a hot star, and Mercury's hot too. Venus is the brightest planet, and Earth is home to me and you.
okay.
Mars is the red one, and Jupiter's most wide. Saturn's got its icy rings. Uranus spins on its side. Neptune's really windy, and then Pluto was still in existence as a planet. And then it goes, and Pluto's it's really small. And then it goes, you
I'm
want
so
to name
sad
the
that they got
planets,
rid
and
of it.
now we've named them all. Yeah, that's the planet song from Blue's Clues.
Okay, so if we were to go to like, if we were try to get to Venus because that one's in front of us
Yes,
when it
between
comes
us
to
and the
this
sun.
between us and the sun. Like even just going to Venus, like I'm pretty sure it's like substantially hotter. And like
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I like science and I like um astronomy. I keep going to say astrology and I'm like, no, that's
Yep.
oh,
That's star
Jem
signs.
Jem said something really funny the other day, and I can't remember what it is now. Um, but it was about like the signs and like I don't know. I'd have to ask them what they said. But it was
Mhm.
funny. If I figure it out, I'll put it in. But um yeah, but I'm not like too involved when it comes to astronomy. And like
Mhm.
I don't even know if I could fully even wrap if I were to like sit down with someone from NASA and they were trying to like explain something to me, I'd be like, "What? What are
Yeah.
you saying?"
What? Hello?
What?
Excuse me?
I'd be so confused. I don't understand. I need to, you know what, something that I need to do that I've
What?
seen a couple times on my TikTok? I need to watch
Mhm.
Interstellar. The only reason why I haven't yet is because I thought it was a horror movie and I don't like horror.
Mm.
Like I do, like I'm trying to, okay, actually, I should say, I'm trying to watch more horror movies. Um,
Gotcha.
but I haven't watched Interstellar, but it has like an amazing soundtrack. Um, and I don't even know what it's fully about, but I've been seeing it on my TikTok and I was like, "Oh, okay, add to the list."
Mm.
I don't know. Space movies freak me out because it's very real. It's
Yes.
very much just a black void of nothing. Like
Yeah.
in like NASA ships, like if it takes you like 2 days to get to the moon and you're just floating out there and you have like
Yeah.
no gravity or like any type of pull, you're literally just floating, waiting for death. And that's
Mhm.
so terrifying. It's so scary. Ugh, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know if I could do it.
I get it. But see, it's interesting though, because then you have like things like Star Wars though, where I
Mhm.
can look at them and I'm like, yeah, this is normal. Like space isn't all that scary. Like as it doesn't feel as scary as it would be.
Because I feel like they
Maybe
live in like in that fantasy setting. They've lived and they've like accepted space as like a thing
yes, like
that
it's
they
part of the culture that they embrace.
yeah, like you have to do space travel to like get other places or like to be like a hunter or like part of,
yeah, it's literally
you
just
know?
like driving down the highway. It's like let's
Yeah.
just go from Alderaan to Alderaan to Coruscant, and then bam, you just take a space
Yeah.
hyperlane, and you're all of a sudden there, and it's like wow, yep.
Punch the thrusters, let's hyper jump.
And
It's just
yeah,
so easy to do.
yep. In our world, that's not the reality at all.
Mm-mm. I mean, I can hop on the highway and like do the same thing. Like I could punch it into hyperdrive and do like a buck 30.
Yeah, and then the police pull you over, and they're like, "Do
Yeah.
you know that you were driving,
Ma'am, do you know
130
why I pulled you over
kilometers?"
today? I wonder why.
Yes, I do.
I do. Here's my license and registration. Knock
I
on
had
wood.
it ready.
Knock on wood. Never been pulled over. Fingers
Hey,
crossed.
hopefully that
Um,
maintains itself
I'm a good
along with,
driver, guys.
yeah, you
I
better
don't
be.
like confrontation, so I don't want to deal with cops.
Mm.
But speaking of Star Wars, like one of your favorite topics. Mandalorian season 3 came out today. Yesterday? It was yesterday, right? Or was it today? As of recording. I think it was yesterday.
Yes, it was.
It was the first. Yeah.
Yes,
Which
no,
is
I watched it.
which
I was like, I had to like a brain fart for a second. I was like, yes.
which I haven't watched yet. I have not watched
It
it. I've
was?
heard it's good. And I
Yeah.
didn't even know there was a season 2. So the fact that season 3 came out, I'm like, huh? But I didn't, and you know, with The Last of Us, Pedro Pascal, I might have to watch it.
Yeah. See, I was thinking about this the other day. This is such a tangent, but like how I feel like in different generations of movies, there's like an era where you just see all of the same actor all the time. Like I feel like there's a good amount of
Yes.
time where like I feel like you just saw Anna Kendrick everywhere. Like
Yep.
she'd always be in everything. And then now all of a sudden she's not in everything anymore. And I'm like, where'd Anna Kendrick go? And it's just because they've moved on to somebody else. And like right now, this is like Pedro Pascal's era of like he could
Mm-hmm.
be in everything, and he will continue to be in everything because he draws media attention because
Yeah. And
everyone likes
because
him as a
he
person and a
was
character.
yeah, and because like The Last of Us was so popular and everyone was like excited for him, everyone started like diving into like the movies that he had been in, which I didn't know, but he was in Game of Thrones. He
Oh,
was like
uh-huh.
for like multiple episodes, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He was in the Kingsman movie, the second one, which I've
Uh-huh.
seen the first one. I have not seen the second one, but let me tell you, I'm gonna get real close and personal for this one. The
Mhm.
amount of times and the amount of times that I have seen that dang edit on my TikTok page, I have that memorized now. I hope everyone is satisfied who made an edit of that man to that audio where he goes, how about I take you home and you can ride on a real cowboy? I got a 6-pack of cold one on ice and my roomie's out all night so you can scream my name as loud as you need to, sugar. Hey, sexy lady. I like your stuff. Like, I literally memorized. I hope you all know. And I haven't even
Is that
seen
why you
King.
sent that to me?
Yes, I
At
did.
some point in time, I was like, "This
Yes.
is so random. Why is this? What does this
Because
matter?"
he's so hot in that. Like, I can't. But like, it was a big thing. Like, and so he's in the Kingsman. He's in Game of Thrones. He's the Mandalorian. And then he's in The Last of Us. And then what else was he in? There was one other thing. Can't remember what it is right now. But like everyone's going back. It was the same thing like what happened when Wednesday was really popular on Netflix like a month
Mhm.
or two ago. Everyone started binging like Jenna, or is it Ortega?
Yeah, Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ortiz, and I'm like, that's not right. Jenna Ortega's like movies, all of them. They were all coming up on my TikTok and my like For You
Yep.
page and stuff like that of like all the different movies that they've been in because everyone just like wants to consume them, you know? And like with Anna Kendrick, it was like that style of like romance mixed with comedy or whatever. Like she
Yes.
was in Twilight like a good chunk of years ago, and then all of a sudden like three Pitch Perfect movies come out, and then she's doing like all like she's doing this like dramatic acting and like this like comedy acting, and I don't know. Like I love her. Do not get me wrong. I literally side tangent before my recording
Good.
today. I literally watched a video of it was like a vocal coach reacting to Pitch Perfect. And like I'm watching it and there was
Oh,
like some funny jokes in there or whatever. And I was like, I laughed and I was like, fine, I'll watch Pitch Perfect again.
yeah.
Like,
You're like, "Okay."
I guess you did pull my leg, I guess. Like, I don't know. I just feel like the movies, like I have them memorized. I also just, Ben Platt, a round of applause for that man. I love him. His riffs, unmatched.
Yes, he's very talented.
Yes, I agree. Speaking of Jenna Ortega,
Mhm,
and movies and all that stuff. Scream 6
mhm.
is coming out soon, which
True, because
the
there needs to be more apparently.
yes, apparently. I think I talked about this on stream. I might have talked about this on the podcast. I recently watched the original Scream like
Yes.
a couple weeks ago, maybe like January, maybe.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Skeet Ulrich, and Matthew Lillard, young Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but even him being as unhinged as he is in that movie, I can't. They're just so hot. They're just so hot. The first time I saw Skeet Ulrich was in Riverdale before they
Mhm.
fucking ruined it. Just letting you know. Don't watch Riverdale. It's shit. Please, and I don't say that because I'm like, oh, it's bad. If you guys stop watching it, they won't renew it. And then the actors can finally get out of their strict binding
Mm.
contracts and can finally go and do something else other than the ridiculous things that they're putting them through. Stop watching Riverdale and giving it like a platform so that the writers can completely cuck these actors because they can't do anything else. They are like their contract is so strict that they are
Mhm.
not allowed to do any other type of movie or anything like that.
That really
Cole
sucks.
Sprouse was one of those actors that you were starting to like see in everything, and then he got sucked into Riverdale, and now he can't get out.
Mm.
So one of those things, and I just think it's so funny that Matthew Lillard is going to be in the fucking FNAF movie. Which, by the
Yep.
way, they have leaked, quote unquote, so much production and like info about it that like, what are we even gonna have to watch when it actually comes out? Do you think you're
mean
gonna watch it?
I mean, Probably, which sounds really bad. But I think it's one of those things like even though I'm not the hugest FNAF fan, I've been part of its community, whether I like to or not, like
Same.
for so long because of different factors. So it's like I probably will go see it. If nothing else, I just really want to see Josh Hutcherson in a movie again, like
Oh,
so bad.
true.
Um,
Yeah, he hasn't been in a movie in a long
and so
time.
like the fact that he's going to be in it, it's like oh, and then Matthew Lillard, like even and for me, maybe this is the thing is like I have always been like this knowing things or accidentally getting spoiled things never terribly ruins the experience for me because I always like the journey of getting to where it needs to be. And so like as long as they
You
don't
say
like
that, but then you got mad at me for spoiling something in Critical Role.
I get jokingly mad
But
at you. I really don't care if it
like we're
helps.
watching season 2 and you're like, "Oh, didn't know this was gonna happen." And I was like, "Ah!" You would have been like, "Oh my god, that was so sad," or "Oh my god, I was not expecting that." If you didn't know, if I hadn't spoiled it. Ah, I can't keep my mouth shut.
You're like my mom when she gets a surprise birthday present for my sister, and they're like going to the store, and my sister's like, I kind of want this, and I'm just like, she can't even say like, she won't even like just try and change stuff. She's just like, don't get that because I already got it for your birthday every time, every time, and it's just like
Oh, you like
that's
that? Yeah,
Mousy.
too bad you don't get it.
Yeah, that's just Mouse right there. She's just like, yeah, yeah. You think that this is good? We'll just wait until you wait till like season 6 when this happens, and
I'm
everything's gonna be
just
great.
so excited about
I know.
it.
It's fine. It's not a terribly bad thing, but it is extra fun. But yeah, so it's just interesting to see how
Mhm.
that kind of all like progresses.
I
Speaking
Oh,
sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, really quickly, I don't know if you're transitioning, but I was just gonna say, like,
Mhm.
like, with the when it comes to the FNAF movie, I think it's so funny. Like, I despise FNAF the franchise and the
Mm,
community that it's created and how, like, obsessed it, like, their community can be, and it's supposed to be a
yes.
horror game, and yet kids are like, "Oh my god, Freddy Fazbear." But, like, I have a strong feeling that we're gonna do a group watch together because we're gonna want to meme it, and we're gonna try to make fun of it, and it's gonna be one of those things where like you like watch it and be like, this is gonna be so bad. And then I have a strong feeling that like Matthew
We're
Lillard's gonna
gonna
put his whole Freddy Fazbear Ussy into this fucking movie, and it's gonna be good, and I'm gonna hate
great.
myself. Huh?
No, it's just like you just I don't know. I was trying to make a meme joke. You're good.
Oh, sorry.
Um, but yes, no,
It's gonna be good, and
it's
I'm not
it's
ready
good.
for it.
Yeah. I think I know. I've got good expectations for it. I think it'll be good. And what I was gonna say is speaking of good expectations and speaking of
Mm.
FNAF and speaking of spoilers, I didn't know this, but apparently Markiplier is filming a
Yeah.
movie
What
this
the hell's
month
that up with?
in March. And like it was
Like a short
announced in
film?
January in like an interview that he was like doing like a full-fledged like movie. Like
Oh.
you know how he's like done his like Markiplier in space, all this other stuff. Like he
Yeah.
has those as like interactive film experiences, but like he's actually like making a full-fledged like film.
Damn.
Um and he announced this at the end of February, and I just saw the video come up in my feed today, and I was like, huh. And then I was like, wait, he's actually like making a movie, like legitimately. And it's so wacky because I think it's so interesting that as someone who became known for his gaming content, how Markiplier as an individual is like he still at least publicly feels like he still maintained his integrity as a creator and as a person
Mhm.
while still achieving relative success. And like and he hasn't limited himself just to working YouTube. Like he's done so many other things. Um like it's so it's just like the fact that he's making a movie I
Mhm.
think is so cool. Um because it's going to be good. Like I just
Mhm.
because
You
of
know
that
he's gonna, like, put his all into it.
yes, the amount of quality that he's produced with even just the last years of like, Markiplier in Space, Una's Honest, like
Mhm.
all of that. Like, I mean, well, it's funny how I would think Una's Honest is like the epitome of good quality content. Oh, like with like fedora and tea in hand. Even though I only watched it like the last day that it existed, because I was like, this content doesn't seem like something I'd want to watch. And then later on, I'm like, man, maybe some of the episodes I would have wanted to
Man.
watch. Um, but yeah, but he's making a movie, and I just think that's really cool. As someone who is, again, for better or worse, in the YouTube space, is very familiar with Markiplier. Um,
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's cool to see someone take the success they have and use it to build up even more cool things,
Yeah.
not just sit on what they got.
That was like Zoella. Like I very much looked up to Zoe because she kind of like she had a lot of stress about like doing new things, but has like unbelievable amount of success with like everything that she does. But she's got like
Mm,
so much anxiety behind starting new things and like stepping away from YouTube. Like she's done YouTube for I don't know, 13 years. Um or like at least over 10 years. She actually quit her main channel after it hit 13 million subscribers because she got panicked with the amount of like pressure that like making sure to upload a like structured good video because she was like a beauty guru or whatever um every week, but like her
mhm,
vlogs do so well. They're like 40-minute
mhm.
vlogs. I don't know what the retention is on them, but like gets millions of views. She started a beauty line. She's written like 5 books now. I think she wrote
Yeah.
a fantasy trilogy, and then she's written like a fantasy thriller, I think, with her friend.
Mhm.
Um, and then like she has like a homeware line. She's got a beauty line, like I said. I'm pretty sure she has like a baking line. I don't know. But like literally everything she touches is just like it works out, you know? And it's just like
Mhm.
I hate that she has like so much doubt in herself, but like the
Yeah.
fact that like she can still do YouTube and have all these like other like that's the thing is like you got to invest in like other things than just like making content. Or you got to get to like a point. Obviously, it's easier said than done, but like you need
Yeah.
other avenues of income and like you need to constantly be expanding and adapting. And the way that Mark's stuff has played out was that he has had the ability to um expand and like start doing more structured content and like high
Yeah.
quality content to the point of now making a movie.
Right.
So you just gotta always
Yeah.
adapt, you know?
It's just cool.
I will say the other like last thing, the other thing that I'm excited for that I keep getting reminded of is the dang Dungeons and Dragons movie. It's gonna be so stupid, but it's gonna be so good. And I'm actually quite excited because there's the one of the actors, they're playing I think they're playing a mage or like a cleric or something like that, was
Mm.
in they've been in a lot of smaller stuff, but they were in The Quarry, like the game The Quarry.
Oh,
Um,
mhm.
and I thought I had recognized them before, but like now that I watched the playthrough of The Quarry, I'm like, wow, I'm seeing you literally everywhere. And his voice
Hmm.
sounds very familiar. But like, I'm like, hey, I know that guy. He did the thing with Brenda Song
Hey.
and other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for the D&D movie. I don't even care if I have to go watch it alone. I am just
I'm
it's gonna be
more
so
excited for it
cheesy.
than I thought I would be. Like, I'm still, like, hesitant about it a little bit,
Mhm.
but it's hard because, like, I also just I don't know, I think there's something really I think it'll be fun, and the fact that they, I think, are planning to kind of play it up almost like the Legends of Vox Machina style where they don't make a lot of meta references, if any,
Mhm.
to, like, really just focus on their world, I think is probably a smart approach, even though I wanna see the cutouts, I wanna see the people doing things, but they've done that in so much in other media that
Yeah.
if they don't do it, it's gonna be okay. We'll live,
The one thing
kind
that
of
I did
thing.
see from the trailer that is so funny that like might answer that question is like they're I don't remember who it is. I don't know if it's like the bard or the cleric, but they cast like Speak with Dead, and like with Speak with Dead, you get 3 questions to ask
Yeah,
them before you can't like ask them any more questions.
right.
Um, and then so they ask a question, and then they turn to their group, and then they go, "Was that a question?" And then the person, like the dead person goes, "Yes." Which I think is so funny because that like depending on your DM happens. Like
Yep.
there should like some DMs rule it of like you need to have your questions, and if you ask any form of question, that's what the dead will hear and like respond to,
Yeah.
which I think is so funny that it's just like, "Was that a question?" And then the dead guy goes, "Yes." And it's like, "No! No, I wasted a question."
Right.
So, I don't know,
Like, you
they might
understand
get a
it.
little meta, which I I'm
Yeah,
excited
but
for.
meta in the sense that like they don't have to break the fourth wall. It's a
Mhm,
they can
mhm.
still stay within the characters of the universe and
Make it
make
flow
fun of
nicely.
the way that the universe works.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear ya.
Mhm.
But if you want to know what other movies are coming out this year, I will link down below Rotten Tomatoes 52 most anticipated movies of this year. Um, honorable mentions being another Transformers movies. They already have like 7, but it's fine.
It's
I'm
just
pretty
like
sure
Scream.
Fast. Yeah, yeah, it's like Scream. I'm pretty sure Fast X or 10 or whatever the heck it is comes out. And as well as a bunch of Marvel movies coming out. Obviously, Ant-Man already came out, but Guardians of the Galaxy Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is coming out
Oh.
as well later this year. I think it's coming out in May. Maybe. Maybe not later this year. Maybe soon.
Mm.
I don't know. The link will be down below. You can go check out if you want to know what people think will be good movies this year. But
Yes.
with that, we will move on to the Should I Be Scolded segment. I have 3 for us today. There, 2 of them are short, one of them is long. I'll read the titles to you, and you can pick which one you want to hear first. These ones, only one of them, the what's it called? The forum has deemed yay or nay. The other 2 are
Oh.
up in the air. So there
Ooh.
is Should I Be Scolded for going off on my sister's boyfriend and getting him kicked
Mhm.
off the trip? There's Should I Be Scolded for telling someone their autistic son should go to a group home?
Mhm.
And then there is Should I Be Scolded for choosing my senior cat over my sister and potentially allowing her to become homeless?
Mhm.
Which one would you like me to do first?
Oh.
Or which one intrigues you the most?
I mean, does it sound bad that I really care about the cat one?
No.
I'm like, cat? Ooh, cat over person?
Cat?
I want to know.
Okay, I will. We'll do that one first. All right, this one's the longer one, so that works out. We
Hey.
can do this one in like a short one. So, should I be scolded for choosing my senior cat over my sister and potentially allowing her to become homeless? I will preface this by saying that my mother treated my sister and I differently. I was always less than, while she could do no wrong. She'd always buy my sister everything she wanted while I wore her hand me downs. I moved out at 18, worked through college, went no contact with my mom, and less contact with my sister, and our paths diverged greatly from there. I now work in a field that pays well, while she is a SOM, SAHM. Stay at home mom.
Ah.
They didn't capitalize it, so I didn't know it was an acronym. They're stay at home mom. I guess I never quite got over this. And while I know the main a-hole is my mother and my sister didn't really know any better, I still fester negative feelings towards both of them. I found Tom in a bag as a newborn kitten. He was the only one still alive. Oh no! And I raised him over summer break when I was 13. Then, when school started, my mother got rid of him, and I had to go through great and extreme lengths to find out where she dumped him. Took me a week to find him, and we've been together ever since. So, not only, side tangent, not only did this person find a cat in a bag, which
Mhm.
I just want any random listeners, because I know that our followers would never do this. If you're
Mhm.
randomly stumbling upon our podcast and you would ever think of doing that, just know that I will find you. All right? But anyway,
Yeah.
and then the mother dumped him on the side of the road for a second time in this cat's life.
Mhm.
Um, For a few months, Tom hasn't really been okay and has been slowly declining. The vet, however, based on recent blood panel we did, was confident that he still has some life left to live and said he's by far the healthiest geriatric cat she's seen in a while. Thus, we decided to try out surgery to improve his quality of life, even though he's 21. Thi
Wow.
This surgery comes with a price tag. I'm not in the US, but it's around 3 months worth of minimum wage in my country. It won't set us back much, hardly an inconvenience. But we'll be frugal just in case complications happen. He's scheduled for Monday, fingers crossed. This was posted 9 hours ago.
Mhm.
Anyways, my sister dropped by on Sunday, which was strange. We haven't spoken since she messaged me a Merry Christmas gif on Facebook. Also it's GIF, not GIF.
Yeah, I agree.
Looks looks like her husband jumped on the NFT bandwagon and they're kind
Oh.
of broke and a few months behind on mortgage and asked if I could help her out with the payments since they're
Ooh.
at risk of becoming homeless. I said, I'm sorry she's going through this, but this is not a good time for me either. And I listed the reason above. I do not want to
Mhm.
ever be in a situation where my cat's life depends on $100 that I cannot afford to pay. I suggested she get a job and maybe downsize / move in with mother while they get back on their feet. She did not
Mhm.
take this well. Called me a see you next Tuesday and a crazy cat lady that's going to end up alone, plus some other not nice words. I kicked her out. My mother and other relatives have been spamming me through the week for being heartless and caring more about an animal than my own flesh and blood. My husband
Oh.
says I could have just given her some cash to avoid the drama, and he's right. I could have. This is why I feel like I might be the a hole in the end. The main reason I chose to not help is due to my childhood baggage. Should I be
Mm.
scolded?
Mm. I mean, I guess I will say that last part of context does make a bit of a difference, I feel, with regards to
For
the
reasoning.
approach. Yes, the reasoning. Um, because certainly, yes, I think this is showing my bias. Maybe because in my family, like with our pets, when we bring them in, they are family, like pretty
Yeah.
much guaranteed. Like we, life surgery might be a bit of a stretch for us. Like I don't know if we'd go that far, but like if the
Hmm.
cat's also been alive for 21 years, like
Yeah.
that's like more than 5/6 of my life. Like that's a long time. Um, and so it's just like wow, like, that's
Yeah.
really incredible, and so
They're like at that point, like they're all like that cat's only like a couple years younger than us.
yeah,
That cat
mhm.
was born in the 90s. Like it's almost as or no,
It's really, like,
with
early,
2000
like,
like
right
2000.
2000, yeah,
Yeah. He was
mhm.
born
That's
like
still
2000.
that's, like, older than Gabe.
Yeah, this
Like
cat can drink, he can't.
like, that's a big difference, and
Yeah.
so, on the one hand, I really do think that, like, no, she has the right to spend that money on her cat as she wishes, like,
Mhm.
that's guaranteed, no, like I think her family's expectations are stupid, that they really shouldn't be pushing that far, um, but at the same time, I will say that if financials really aren't a concern,
Mhm.
that's all to do with things, I do think that can be a bit rude to do, so I can understand their logic,
Mhm.
um, that's my general stance on it. I've not said what I go with because I wanna give you a chance to share your
Yeah.
perspective first.
So, my main thoughts are my main questions are was this was the sister aware or was like she oblivious to the treatment,
Mm,
to the way that like this their sibling was being treated?
mhm,
Cuz if they were aware and they were just like being a spoiled brat, then that personally for me sways it a little bit because like if you haven't had that conversation to talk about the shit that like your mom did, like if my mom like spoiled me more than like my sister, like and I like just pretended like it was fine, like I can understand why like my sister would have like some resentment towards me. Like I would never blame her for those feelings, but it's a matter of like she would need to sit down and have that conversation with me And, like, if I was unaware, then obviously, like, I would apologize for it, but if I was aware, then, like, that makes me kinda a little makes me a little shitty because then I'm like, "Yeah, you can get treated like shit because I'm getting treated better." It's like, "Ooh." And then now that you're, like, in a bad spot, it's like, "Oh, how the turntables," you know?
Mhm.
Um, I'm on the same page with you when it comes to animals are family. Do not buy a dog or a cat if you are not ready for a 20-year commitment.
Mhm.
Um, get a hamster. They only live for 2 years. Um, don't buy a dog because a dog just don't.
Yeah.
Just don't. Like, they live
Don't.
20 years, like, depending on the breed and how you take care of them. But,
Mhm.
like,
Which is hopefully well.
my thing is that, like, I'm confused because they said that, like, the money isn't an issue when it comes to, like, the price tag, but they're also trying to, like 3 months worth of minimum wage, even if they're not in the US, like, that I feel like that's still not a lot. Like, on the higher end, it would probably be around, like, I don't know, like 6,000, seven
Right.
thousand. And yeah, mortgages are only, like, a couple $100, like, between 100 and 500 depending on what variables.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, like, it's really hard because, like, if her or if their main reason was, like, "I don't wanna give it to you because I'm still mad at you," then, like, maybe they wouldn't like, they'd be, like, the in-between option, which is, like what was it? It was, "Am I the asshole?" Or, "Not the asshole, are the asshole," and then there was, like, the in-between ones. Hold on, let me go find them. I can
Right.
find it. But, like, I'm kind of sitting between that because, like, I don't think you're the asshole for wanting to take care of your animal and, like, making sure that you have money set aside for them. But if, like, a
Yeah.
3-month wage is nothing, or, like, you say it's nothing, like, you're like, "Oh, it's got a pretty price tag, but it's doable." It's like, Okay, then you clearly have enough."
Right.
Um, so, mm. Oh, it's you are in the wrong, you're not in the wrong, no one's in the wrong, everyone's in the wrong.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's in the wrong on this one.
Yeah. I think
Personally.
I'm probably more inclined to think that as well.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of each.
The mom's wrong for being a bitch. The sister's wrong for also being a bitch. And the person writing is also in the wrong because my thing is that, like, I would just be worried that it became a pattern, you know? Like,
Yeah.
"Oh," and that's, like, something that you need to talk to your husband about. Like, that part of it is, like, not my fucking business. If your
Right.
husband wanted to fall for stupid NFTs, that get a divorce. I don't care. Like, do what you need to do. Take out a loan, but, like, sure, yeah, I'll help you with mortgage this month. Don't come to
Right.
me every month after that and not get a job yourself. And it kind of like they said they're a stay-at-home mom, so it kind of depends on, like, the kids' ages too. Because,
Right.
like, if they're a stay-at-home mom and their kids are young, then they probably can't afford daycare or stuff like that if they can't afford their mortgage. But if their kids are older, then yeah, get a job
Yeah.
and scold your husband for being a fucking idiot. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking everyone is. That's my vote. It had this.
I,
This is the one that, like, hadn't been deemed yes or no yet.
mm,
But a lot of the comments are saying no, that they're not,
I get you.
and they're wanting cat
Yeah.
pics.
Of course. That's how it always goes.
So
But yeah, I'm more inclined to personally think it'd be everyone's in the wrong, even if it's not the meta choice.
yeah. All right. So we got two more. There's the getting the boyfriend kicked off a trip or telling someone's autistic son they should be in a group home.
Um, I I guess I'm in I'm intrigued about the one to do with the autism thing. So I'm just curious to hear that
Sure.
story.
I All right. Okay. Should I be scolded for telling someone their autistic son should go to a group home? I, 25 male, live in a triplex alongside my girlfriend, with our neighbors being my parents and my cousin's family. This arrangement was fine at first. However, recently it's become an issue for me. The issue itself lies with Jason, 18, who is my cousin's severely autistic son, and his need to be consistently looked after. Yeah, they have a mental disability and probably a physical
Mhm.
disability as well. Yeah, they need to be looked after.
Right.
That's how that works.
Yeah. Mhm.
Anyway, this is because aside from being autistic, he has Prader-Willi syndrome. What is that?
I'll look it up.
Hold
I'll look
on.
it up while you keep reading it.
Okay.
Let's see, hold on.
Thank you.
Pray or Willie.
Prader Willie. Uh,
Oh, I see. It's just it's specifically characterized by lethargy, diminished muscle tone, a weak suck, and poor weight gain and growth, and hormone deficiency.
wow. This kid really got cucked.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, I can show you a picture and you'll understand, but you can keep reading.
Sure. At first, I would only watch him for 1 to 2 hours at most while his mother ran errands or went to appointments. This, however, changed this past month when the visits kept getting longer and she began to force him on us unannounced. This led to both my girlfriend and I deciding to put an end to it. On one of my days off last week, I went to her place to have a word with her. When I showed up, she said she wanted to talk about something. This something was her asking if I could do an overnight babysitting for Jason. I straight up told her no and said that I wasn't going to be watching over him anymore. I went on to say how her consistently expecting both myself and my mother to look after Jason is both unkind and unreasonable. I then told her if she plans on working nights, Jason should go to a group home. I also told her that if she finds a day job, Jason should go to a day program where he can be with other special needs people. This unfortunately didn't go well, and I got accused of everything from being selfish to being pussy whipped by my girlfriend. She went so far as to accuse me of wanting to remove her and Jason from the family. The aftermath of this was huge, as my cousin has painted me as a huge asshole, which has led to angry messages from other family members and my parents. Am I the a-hole? Should I be scolded?
Mm,
Oh, okay. I will not be including that picture.
yeah. Oh yeah. No. No. I figured that. That's, yeah. No. I was more just like that's the
First one that
context of
came,
the
yeah.
disorder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. And so, huh?
Side tangent. The fact that that photo is not blurred, I don't know why. Why are you putting that on the
Yeah.
internet? Weird champ. I don't like that. But anyway, that's not your
Yeah.
fault. That's the person who posted it. But anyway,
Yes.
um, so yeah, personally, I think the way that they wrote it and like maybe approached it was probably kind of a little asshole-y, because they were just like
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just like I'm selectively confrontational. That like I would just be like, hey, yeah, like I want to have a conversation. Like it seems like I've been like watching after them more and more, and like honestly, like he's your son. Like although I don't mind helping, like he's not my responsibility. Um, if you like need to do things during the day or during the night, then like yeah, like you should probably like put him like the day suggestion, not a bad idea. Because if you
Right.
put him with other like if you put him in a place with other special needs people with like certified like therapists and nurses and like that kind of thing for just like the
Right.
day, I don't think that's bad. Um I think like then he gets a little socialization, you know? But
Hmm.
like I understand that might not be an option for people with autism, because I know like I'm not a doctor, and I want to say this with like respect and kindness.
Right.
But I know that, like, depending on the, like, severity or, like, the level of, like, autism that they have, they might have, like, a meltdown, or they might, like, like, it might just not be optional for like, for Jason to go to a place, because if his mom were to leave, or, like, someone he's not familiar with were to take over, like, it might cause, like, a bigger stress and
Right.
issue. Um, but I don't necessarily disagree with this person of, like that, um, they're his he's not their responsibility. And to blame the girlfriend too, like, I hate that. Like, don't,
Mm,
like, you're pussy whipped by your girlfriend. No, this was like, even if it was her decision, or if she brought it up first, like, that just shows that, like, it's not just me who feels this way, you know?
right.
And, like, I don't know, especially if the girlfriend wasn't there to, like, defend herself, like, I hate that. I hate that shit so much.
Yeah. No,
I
yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just, in terms of my experience, again, I've not had to deal with prolonged, um, type circumstances where I'm, having to take care of someone who is that far along on the autism spectrum.
Mhm.
Um, but having a cousin who is severely autistic, to the point where he was in a similar situation where he would be at home most of the time. Even, the thing was that, like, he even had a program he went to because my aunt was a nurse, it still is a nurse. And so
Mhm.
she wouldn't be home all day. And the dad works a lot too. And so, they made sure that he got settled into a place where he had somewhere to be with people who could help take care of him, um, during the day. And obviously they were well enough off financially that they could do that. In part was also because they really wanted to encourage like social acclimatization a little bit.
Mhm.
Just to make sure it's like, hey, just so you know, like even though you won't be able to ever live fully independently, we want to give you as much independence as we can by having you go to these different places where you can meet other people and learn to kind of interact in that way. And so, like, it's hard to know without being the person who's involved in that situation, all the specific nuances of that. Um, but with regards to the current situation, I do agree that it's like the fact that, um, there is this expectation of sort of the family kind of having to take care of, the son, despite the fact that
Mhm.
he's not their responsibility. Like, yes,
Yeah.
he's family, but ultimately it is the mother's, responsibility to help him get the help that he needs
Yeah.
to be taken care of, and not just put that on the family because it's, cheaper or most efficient to do.
Mhm. Like, I understand,
So
like, them, like, the whole, like, beginning of it where, like, yeah, we watch him for, like, 1 to 2 hours at most. Like,
yeah,
it's, like, one of those things of, like, "Oh, I really need to run some errands," and it would just be really quick if, like, you could watch him, or, like, whatever, or, like, I have an appointment and, like, they wouldn't be able to go because of, like, certain things or
right.
whatever. Like, that's fine, but, like, I don't know, just, like,
Yeah,
don't
but, like, to know
dump
you're
your
taking on
kid on
more and
other
more work.
people.
Yeah, exactly, just in general, especially when it's yeah, like, in some ways it sounds bad. I feel like the autism certainly is good to explain, but the lot of level of detail to which it's explained, I don't think is entirely necessary for us to understand the context of the situation either. Um,
Mm.
so I do think some of the perspective is probably a bit skewed in some ways.
What do you mean?
So, well, just like I guess for me sometimes, maybe this is just again having more people in my life now that I know have autistic tendencies in some way,
Mhm.
and that are again autism is a spectrum. You have people who are severely autistic, and then those who aren't at all
Mhm.
like severe, like they have autism, but really that just it mainly shapes their worldview and maybe affects how they interact socially. But in terms of other capabilities, they're still
Mhm. Like
able
high
to be
functioning and low functioning?
yeah super high functioning versus low functioning. And so I think that could just be just sounds bad. It might just be that the OP just isn't super educated in that sort of mentality of like of
Yeah.
understanding autism all that well. Um, so again, with all that said, I think it's I while I don't disagree with his stance or their stance rather, um, I do think they're being a bit rude about how they're choosing to approach it. Um,
Mhm. Would you say
so
that,
that
like, no one is the asshole then? No one should be scolded? Or do you
Um,
think that the that this person isn't the asshole? Even if they
I th-
they didn't
I
describe it in the best way.
I think they aren't wrong. I
Mhm.
do think that they went about it the wrong way though. Um,
Mhm.
maybe like there could have been some other way of being able to communicate this um to handle the situation, but again, I'm more balanced than I'd like to think. I probably think that, but I do think the OP is probably more in the wrong than the mom with regards to the specific situation at hand.
Mhm.
Um, even though overall, principally speaking, I think that the mom should just do a better job of providing opportunities for her son to
Mhm.
be more actively engaged in other things. So it's not always just her responsibility to also take charge of him and then put him on other people either.
Mhm. I agree.
But that's probably where I sit. Which again might not be exactly how you feel, and that's okay too.
I agree. I'm just reading the comments as well. This was the one that was deemed not the
Mm.
a-hole. Um one comment that stuck out to me is you could have just said no, like that I just want to remind everyone, no is a full sentence. Just letting you know. But no, and let her figure out the rest. However, day centers are not as bad as people make them out to be. Her son may appreciate spending time with literally anyone outside the family. Day centers for for the disabled are a great way for disabled people to have a chance to get out and interact.
Mm.
Which is kind of like what I said a little bit, but yeah, literally if you went over and approached it a little bit differently, and if she was like, "Yeah, yeah, I want to talk to you too. Can you watch him again?" I'd be like, "No."
Mm.
And
Yeah.
then present my thing and be like, "This is something that I wanted to talk to you about. I don't want to do this excessively and extensively anymore. It's become bigger than what it originally started with, and I don't think that it's fair."
Right.
Um, and then you can have a conversation from there. In my humble opinion.
I get you.
Well, let us know either in the Discord, on Twitter, or in the comments down below on YouTube or Podbean what you guys would rate both of these. If you think that
Hmm.
either of these scenarios, what are your thoughts? Let us know. We're gonna move on to the Q&A section here.
Oh, yay.
Yay! I have highlighted some of the questions that I think we should answer first.
All right. Yes, we can start with this then.
Um, well, we'll start with an easy one. What's your most favorite color? This was a question asked, by the way. You can ask
Hmm.
us literally anything. It can be as simple as
Yes.
this or whatever. You can ask us any
Yeah,
questions.
that's true. We'll answer anything.
hmm What's your favorite
Maybe.
color, Kano? Yeah, it depends. Yeah.
My favorite. I mean, the color that I have chose. Like, if I have a choice
hmm
of what color, I
You
guess it
always have a
depends on the
choice.
scenario. If it's for literally anything I have control over, like digital stuff, like digital
It
art,
just says, "What
or
is your most favorite color?"
I know, which is
Mhm.
there's so many answers that could be given. Um, like I could tell you which colors wouldn't be. But
Mm,
I tend to gravitate
pink
mostly
gray.
toward blues.
Mhm,
Um, like any sort of blue I would generally like, but my favorite kind of blue is turquoise or
mhm.
cyan. It's why it's my main color for,
If you're
my
watching on
persona
YouTube,
for
you can
content
tell.
creation. Yeah, for YouTube, for anything. I don't know. I like that color a lot.
Mhm,
Because it's just it's like it gives the same like level of like it's blue, but it's also got that like hint of green. It's very like calm, like sea colors.
mhm,
Um, and I don't know. I just have always really liked that color. Like some of my favorite T-shirts were that color, and that's I think why it stood out to me is like yes, I like this a lot, but if I have a choice, that's usually where it is. But like generally speaking, it's blues. Shades of blue will be my favorite
hmm.
colors in any category of life.
I feel you on that because I just vibe with really any pastels or if we're talking shades as well. Just
Hmm.
I you will always see me in black or white, always or
Mm.
gray. I always gravitate towards gray. Um, but my favorite color would probably be um like I don't know what the color is. It's like a lavender, but it's a little bit darker.
Mm.
It has a different name. It's like periwinkle or something like that. It's just like a little bit deeper of a purple. On the cooler side. Or no. Yes. I'm mixing up. No, warmer side. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, that's my favorite color. Which
Ooh.
isn't a lot of my stuff, but you know. Yeah. I have to yawn.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not
Mm.
bored. I said promise.
How dare
It's,
you?
ah. You want to ask a question?
Sure, I would gladly ask a question.
I hear a fire
Um,
truck.
ooh, okay, I'll ask this one then because I do think this is a fun one, and I know I've got things to say about it, so I'm curious to see what you have to
Hmm.
say about it. So I'll broaden it out a little bit too, but I'll leave it. I'll ask the specific question, which is, what is your opinion on the Toy Story 5 announcement by Disney? And I'll extend that to kind of encapsulate thoughts about the general sequels that are being made on Disney as a whole as of their most recent announcement. What are your thoughts?
Well, is this going to be a movie? Or is this going to be like a
Yes,
Disney Plus show?
I think it's a movie.
Okay. Initial thoughts? I don't think there needs to be 5. um, but I don't this was something that like when I was prepping like the episode earlier, I caught a glimpse of and I forgot to like look up, but like I didn't even know they were doing a Toy Story 5. So tell me more about it. What do we know the theme yet? Is it with like
No,
different
it is.
characters?
It's very raw. All it was announced during Disney's like what's the word? Like sort of like investors or like what's the word for like people who like
Panel?
it's like they had a meeting with like shareholders. I think that's what it was. Was the
Oh.
Disney shareholders meeting where they have to basically explain like why should you still be invested in Disney as a property to like put your money into. And so at that, Bob Iger officially announced sequels to Frozen, to Zootopia,
Oh.
and to Toy Story. Um, among other things. Like those were the three that like stood out as like, hey, we're gonna be doing sequels of these things. And so
So Frozen's getting a
that's
third movie?
yep, Frozen's getting a third one.
Mm.
Um, so it's in light of that kind of scenario that we're seeing Toy Story 5 is getting greenlit,
Mhm.
basically. Um, and rather than greenlit, it's like we're doing more kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, so it's in that context, I think that question is being asked.
Hmm. Yeah, my initial thought of is it is just like, wow, I don't think we need to do another one. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't remember anything past the second one. I have not seen
Mm.
them in so long. But the first one's like the first one is a classic, and then the second one was nice, and then I don't really remember 3 or 4, and I'm probably I don't know if I would watch 5. I feel like when movies get past the like 3 mark, I think they just like lose their pizzazz, you know?
Mm.
What about you?
I'm
You
I'm of a similar opinion. I feel like
I think you'd be
while
excited for it actually. That was my initial
well, I
thinking.
think it's while I love the Toy Story films, at the same time, I feel like Toy Story 4 gave such good closure to the primary storyline. So in terms of like narrative, I'm kind of like, where else do they have to go? like
Mhm.
like obviously you can have plenty of adventures with these toys that I mean, I feel like they could go wherever they want to. Um, I would ideally love it if they did more like a prequel style movie where it's like you got all this time between when Andy was a kid and when he
Mhm.
went to college that we could talk about. Like, let's like we can go more into there, but like, do we need to go to like more sequel territory of like talking about like more post what happens after this kind of thing? Um, like, that'd be where like, I think once we get more clarity on where that movie's going, I might get more
Yeah.
excited. But if it's just gonna be telling more of, like, the beyond, like, now that Woody's left, the toys behind to go with Bo Peep, like, what does that mean? Like
Yeah. Where
like,
where
I don't know.
where could this story possibly be going?
Yeah, so that's, I think, where kind of makes me feel a bit like, "Yeah." Um, in that way. But in terms of Zootopia and Frozen on the sideline, I think
Zootopia
they
2,
both still
I would
have
be
places to
excited
go.
for. I like
Yes. Oh
that,
yeah.
I'm like, "Yes, give me another one of those." Frozen 3, I'm kinda like, "Eh," because they, like Frozen 2, like, ended in such, like, a good way, like, similar to Toy Story 4, where it was just like, yeah, like, spoilers if you haven't seen it, but if you haven't,
Yeah.
why? Just why?
Yeah.
But, like, both sisters are, like, in like, they came together, but also are, like, growing up and, like, doing their own thing, and, like, I don't know, like, Anna's the ruler of
Arendelle.
Arendelle, and then, um,
Also Spirit Lady.
yeah, also Spirit Lady. But, like, like, that was such, like, a big like, resolution of, like, where her powers came from, like, what does this mean? And then, like, staying and, like, liberating, like, the people who have been, like, stuck for so long, like, it's just, like, it felt like a very, like, good place. And, like, they've done so many shorts and skits and
Yeah.
stuff too on top. Like, they did, like, a whole, like, seasons thing. They've done, like, stories with, like, Olaf and, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think that, like, make something new. Like, ah,
Right.
Disney, please.
Like they keep milking the same old stuff over and over and over
Yeah.
again.
Like, don't get me wrong. I want live actions of most of my favorite Disney movies because it would be like I think it's really cool to like see real life people playing out these stories that like I knew was animated and fantasy. Like it brings a little bit more like realness, even though it's still a fantasy
Right.
story, but it brings a little bit more like connection and realness to it that I don't mind watching the live actions. Just if you're gonna make something new, make something new. It's like when you like remaster a game instead of like um what's the word? Remaster versus remake. Like
Right.
oh, we're gonna remaster this game. Why? You're not doing anything for the game. You're just wasting money. Like
Yeah.
remake the game if you're going to. Like what they did with Dead Space. Like don't remaster it and remake it. Like make it look better, but add like new elements because now you have the technology to do so and you can make things better and more fun. And that way, it's a similar experience to what people had been getting before, but then can like get something new as well. And then that way they're not
Right.
playing like yes, I understand that people play through their like classic stories. I've rewatched Disney movies 1,000 times, like
Yeah.
I can tell you every word in The Lion King, like like stuff like that. So like but there's also this, like I don't know, maybe it's just, like, this generation or day and age of, like, fast-paced new content, like,
Yeah.
just, you can't milk the same stuff that you used to because that's not how people are viewing content nowadays. It's, like, very fast-paced, so you gotta keep making something new, and you gotta keep topping yourself, which is, like, eh, hard and annoying, but
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not a producer or anything like that when it comes to, like, production side of things in a giant company like Disney. But,
Right.
little suggestion, can't hurt nobody.
Can't hurt nobody.
No. Um, but speaking of, what's it called? Jobs and
Pain.
stuff.
Jobs.
Pain.
Yeah.
Pain? What do you think that you would be doing if you weren't doing content creation? And I just wanna preface this, the Kano and I don't do content creation full time. We do, but we don't, Like,
It's
we're
all we do, but we only have so many things we're doing with it.
yeah, like, we do content creation. Like, that's what we do as our, like, job, but, like, we don't do content creation full time in the sense of, like, we aren't YouTubers. We
Right.
work for YouTubers. So, it's a
Yes.
little it's different. Like, we're part of the, like, production side of the content, sometimes within it, but we're not the content creator,
Correct.
if that makes
Mhm.
uh,
Even
yeah.
though you could argue we make the content more than the sometimes the
Yes.
people who put
Mm,
their faces out there,
yeah.
depending on the
Anyway,
situation. But
but
yes.
what would you be what else would you be doing? What do you think that
I
where you'd be?
I mean, I think about like if my life circumstances remained unchanged, but I wasn't
Mhm.
doing YouTube stuff. Um
Yeah, like
I
you still went to
probably
college for the same thing. You
yeah.
still like had the same interests and stuff.
I mean, I feel like at this point, I would either have an entry level job for a local paper or something like that.
Hmm.
It probably wouldn't be like Chicago Trib level. Like it'd probably be
New York Times.
much more regional kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like a smaller kind of group. Or like I feel like I would be like, hey, this is my now 4th year working at like Barnes and Noble or some bookstore somewhere. Like I feel like that
Manager
would
of Barnes
be
and Noble.
like I wouldn't like because I wouldn't want to work. I've always been like hesitant to wanna be like I don't really want to do like fast food. Like I wouldn't
Yeah,
want to
no.
work in the food industry,
I
even though the
think
skills I'm sure would be useful. I wouldn't want to work there.
yes. I think
Um,
everyone, and this is a PSA,
yes,
everyone should have their first job in some sort of customer service, whether that's retail, food industry, whatever, service industry. Because let me tell you, there are a whole bunch of people who treat people like crap in those industries. And I feel like if everyone was forced to have that type of minimum wage job, everyone would be nicer to each other. You know?
yep,
Like the people who come in to uh like a McDonald's and like scream at the employees, never I don't think they've worked a day in their life. They have just had this like privileged life. They've never had to have like a fast-paced kind of job, you know? So like I just think like as just like a experience because it also makes you have a thicker you as a person have a thicker skin. It also gives you
right,
an appreciation for people working in the service industry.
yeah, get some
So,
empathy.
yeah, get some empathy. Get it today for the low price. But anyway, continue. Apologies.
Yes, so yeah, so that's where I think I'd be. Is I'd still want to be. I probably would have leaned more into my literary side,
Mhm.
as compared to my digital like literary kind
Do
of
you think you'd be
side
a
because
writer? Would you write a book?
I would probably try, but even then, I wouldn't necessarily want to write like a creative book. I feel like creative writing
Mm.
was an area that I have had to lean more into it now than I
Mhm.
would have felt comfortable. Even though I like creative writing, I wouldn't want to make an occupational kind of job out of it.
Mhm. Which you kinda
And
have.
so, yep. So I feel like that'd be where I would be if I wasn't doing like working in the YouTube space, doing content creation there. I would be most definitely either at a Barnes and Noble
Mhm.
or working for like a smaller newspaper, being like a reporter and stuff.
Hmm.
How about you? What would you be
Well,
up
I
to?
think that's really funny because, like, I would probably be on the other end of that reporting thing as well. I feel like I'd be working for some sort of news station, um, or I would be trying to produce my own type of show,
Ooh.
which would be really, really cool because that's what I went to school for and that's what I liked.
Hmm.
I actually have like a show idea, like a teen drama, but like
Oh.
I don't know. A lot it involves the supernatural. A lot of supernatural has done like not the show, but like the genre.
Supernatural things. Yes.
Has been done a lot and I don't feel like the generation underneath us is really into that anymore. Maybe
Right. At
that's just
least in the
me.
same way.
Yeah. Like Vampire Diaries is my shit, dude. Like I've watched that like 5 times, but I feel like people younger than me, like, they just don't care. They're like, "Ew, Vampire Diaries, cringe." Like, you know?
Mm,
So, like, I don't know, but I feel like I'd probably be like, I don't know, I'd be either like a camera person, um, at like a news station, where I'd work my way up to probably producer.
mm,
Um, I don't know, just in like an organizational job, but still having like creative liberties.
right.
Um, I don't know. Or like, hmm, there's always been the job that I want to do outside of content creation right now is voice acting, but I feel like that's still
Mm.
content creation, kind
To an
of
extent, yeah.
to an extent, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'd become a pilot because I want to travel.
That'd be pretty cool.
I'd be scared though.
This is your pilot speaking, Maddie. I'm here.
Attention passengers, this is your captain speaking. My name is Madison, and I will be flying you to your destination today.
You were part. It's a girl.
The weather in Florida is looking nice. The wind is at 32 clicks out of the southeast. We'll be flying over this place, so if you see it, I just love that one side tangent. I love that one thing. It's fake. It's completely fake. But someone's like
Mhm.
filming out an airplane window, and another airplane is like passing them almost. And someone did like a fake thing over the over the intercom, being like, "Attention passengers, I have asked you to put your seatbelt. Your please look above and see that your check seatbelt light is on, or whatever the fuck it is."
Yeah.
And essentially was saying that, like, buckle up because we're gonna fucking race these guys. Like, it was just really funny. If I find the clip, I'll put it in the description. But it's
Yes.
just really funny. I don't know. That would be me. I'd be like, this motherfucker. We're passing him. I don't know. And I watched Transformers recently, and I'm planning to watch
Mhm.
through the whole series of them with Rob.
Mm.
Um, for Gabe, Rob, my best friend. Didn't want
Yeah.
to confuse you. And I don't know, like I literally said to her, I was like, I don't know why, but like technical jargon gets me going. Like in like action movies where they're just like the Marines were talking about like getting attacked in like a city, and then they were like, um you're gonna need like 35s, like bring the rain, targets marked in orange. Like they were just like saying all this like normal, like everyday conversation, but also like a lot of like technical army jargon and
Mhm.
like pilot jargon. And like, I don't know, like I was just like, I'm like, oh shit, shit's ramping up. Let's go, baby. When they start like talking like really fast, but it's like all this like things
Yeah.
that like I could follow, but like not really. I don't know. I just think it's
Right.
really cool. I'm a nerd. I'm a huge nerd.
That's
Uh
fine. I understand.
But yeah, that's probably what I would be. I don't know. I don't think I'd ever go into the army or anything like that because I'm like scared of death. So I would not want to put myself
Mm.
in a situation. I think being a pilot would be really cool, but at the same time, I'm like, that's a lot of responsibility, and it can be just as dangerous.
True.
Um, so I don't know. I like production. I like organized creativity.
I get you.
Yeah,
Creativity's fun.
yeah. I think that's all the questions that we're going to answer today. So if you have a question
Yes.
for us, you can use the live ask link if you'd like to ask us an anonymous question. So if you have something that you maybe don't want everyone else to know, or you have something a little bit more personal, feel free to use the live ask and we will still answer it, and we can
Uh-huh.
give our advice as best as we can. You can also tweet us or put it in either of our discords, which will be in the YouTube link, and also on our Twitter, which is at grandparents pod with a D, not a G.
Mhm. Yep.
um and yeah, tweet us, comment, all that lovely stuff. We will check out your questions. Um, but I did peek at the game, not the answers, but I
Mhm.
scrolled down and I saw the word Marvel and I got really excited.
Yeah. So this week's game is still we're still sticking along with the trivia. I think it's fun. It's a fun little element.
Trivia is fun.
Um,
We
yes,
can't
and I think
really
it'd be
do
quite fun
anything
sometimes.
other than on a game, like on a podcast that we can like
Yes.
show, you know?
Exactly. And I mean, and I'm hoping I'll revisit the Genshin questions more in the future, but to try and apply
Just
to
so you
more of
know.
a general audience, I'm choosing some questions that are a little less tailored to specific
Don't
people.
they're not. Marvel is so good.
No, Marvel is very good. That's why I chose questions that I knew I liked. And so
Oh
yeah, but
gosh.
so this is dealing with Marvel questions in general, but they're very applicable just for people who general like are aware of Marvel and especially MCU.
Mhm.
So if you're aware of those things, then you'll have a good shot here. But these are multiple choice questions. Some of them, I
I'm
think, actually,
excited.
some of them have multiple answers that can be applicable.
Ooh. Okay.
Or at least just one of them can be, because I wanted to kind of broaden my horizons a little bit.
Mhm.
So it'll really test your knowledge to see what's there, and I won't tell you which question. Oh, well, I will tell you which question has multiple answers versus which one won't. So
Okay.
don't get all worried about it. I'm not gonna be like, "Is there multiple for this one?" And then you're like,
Yeah.
"I don't know." It's not worth it. It's not fun. But yeah, we'll ask some 4 questions, and if you're listening along the podcast, you can see whether or not you can get these questions right, and we'll see if Mousy gets them right too. Okay, all right.
Oh,
Are you ready?
yes.
Okay, so our first Marvel fun fact question. When the X-Men were first created as a comic series in the 1960s, they weren't terribly popular. It wasn't until their relaunch in the 1970s that they became the phenomena that they still are today. In both iterations, so the original as well as the relaunch,
Mhm.
there was a single team of mutants who started the roster. Which of these mutants that I'll name out wasn't part of the original X-Men squad? All right. We have Beast. We have Jean Grey slash the Phoenix. We have Iceman. We have Wolverine. We have Cyclops, and we have Angel. Which of these X-Men mutants was not part of the original X-Men squad?
This is multiple choice. Yes?
Yes.
Like there's
Yes.
multiple
And one
answers here?
no,
Oh,
there's
one.
only one answer that's
Oh.
correct in this one, but it's a multiple choice thing.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. There was a single team of mutants who started the roster. Which of these mutants wasn't a part of the original X-Men? Okay. I'm gonna do process of elimination. Wolverine, obviously the most popular. Cyclops, Beast. Those ones I understand. Phoenix, I feel like she was, or they were. Iceman and Angel don't sound familiar. Um, like I'm trying to think of what the more practical uh power would be.
mm,
um, I don't know X-Men very well. Although they're a part of Marvel. Side tangent. I literally messaged Kano today and was like, "What X-Men movie should I watch?" Because I know that like he's like he's either seen some or like played the
yep.
games or whatever, and he was like, "I don't know," and I was like, oh, "Okay." Um, I'm hmm. See, ice feels like the more practical power, but Ice Man seems like like a weird, like, yeah, hey, I'm Iceman versus like I'm Angel, you know?
Mhm.
Um, hmm, I'm gonna go with it's probably gonna be Phoenix, but I'm gonna go with Iceman. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
That Iceman's not a
You
part of it.
it's okay. All right. So you were close, but not
Ah!
quite there. So the one who actually wasn't part of the original X-Men roster was Wolverine. All of the other 5 were in the very
What?
first X-Men team. Yep, Cyclops was the leader, and then you had Jean Grey, who was otherwise known as Marvel Girl at the time, before then they decided to
They were like the
change that to
love
something
interest,
else,
right?
and then that kind of grew later.
Oh, okay.
And then you had Beast, and you had Angel, and you had Iceman. Those were your original 5. Then, after that came the next team of X-Men, where they kind of had different people, and that's where you had characters like Storm, and Colossus, and
Uh-huh.
Nightcrawler, and Banshee.
Mm.
Sunfire is also part of it, and Thunderbird, and then
And
Wolverine, ultimately.
Magneto
No,
versus
Magneto was never part of the original Magneto was never an X-Man. Magneto was
Oh.
always he was, the enemy to the X-Men, and
Oh, he was
he
the
ran the
villain?
Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, in the
Oh.
comics. So the way he got portrayed in the movies especially is very different from how he was in the comics because he was always the
Mm.
antagonist pretty much. Um, so yeah, so fun X-Men fact that I knew because my dad was really into the comics and I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
this is the
This
case.
is
But it's funny
wrong.
when you think about the fact that Wolverine was not part of the original team in both iterations, but eventually became the most popular X-Men character ever. Um,
Wow.
which I think is really interesting. And obviously,
Fun
my
facts
favorite
with
character,
Kano.
Storm, was also in the second team, which I think is funny. But
Storm was played
that's
by
why
Halle Berry, right? Or no?
I wouldn't know.
Oh.
Because like I said, I've not really watched the movies, so
Oh, oh.
I know a little bit. I know more
Ah.
about her comic
I
version of
want to
herself
watch
than I
more
do.
X-Men movies, but like everyone says that like half of them are like shit, and I don't want to like
So they're a little
they're
bit
like,
cringe at the
don't
same
waste your
time. They're
time.
also like, but they're also just like I don't know. I think from what I saw as a kid when I remember watching them, they're not
Mm-hmm.
bad.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to have your expectations set in the right place
Yeah.
for all of them. And then you'll
Okay.
be fine.
All right.
But yeah. All right. So, first question done. Second question. This is moving into a little more MCU related questions,
Heck yeah.
which hopefully will be a bit easier. All right. So, question 2. The third phase of the Avengers movie saga focused on the Avengers defeating the evil dude Thanos, who saw the power of the Infinity Gems/stones to bring balance to the universe. Which of these stones that I'm about to mention is not the name of an Infinity Stone?
Balance, quote unquote, by the way.
Yes, exactly.
Which one's
But yes,
not?
so which of these is not not an Infinity Stone? We have the Space Gem, the Time Gem, the Chaos Gem, the Power Gem, and the Soul Gem.
I have my answer, but I always second guess myself. So hold on, let me count my hand because
I
there's
will say
six.
I've not listed every stone in this
Yes,
category.
yeah.
I've
There's
just
six. You have space, time, space, which is blue, time, which is green, power, which is red, soul, which is no, soul, power's purple, soul is orange, and then no, I feel like I'm getting it wrong. I think it's chaos gem. I'm trying to remember all what they are. There's space, time, power, soul, mind. And what am I freaking missing? Is there only 5? The four knuckles and then the center?
No, there's 6.
What am I missing? Space, time. Sorry, I'm trying to get this right. Space is blue. Time is green. Power is purple. Reality, that's it. Reality is red. Mind and soul. Mind is yellow, soul is orange. So it's chaos. Chaos is the wrong one.
That is correct.
Yay! Ding ding ding.
Yeah, I don't feel the need to explain any more of that.
Because I already did it all.
You detailed everything.
Oopsies. Now you know.
So that's fine. That's all right. It's fine. Yeah, but see, good job. I'm proud of you. Good job.
Yay!
So that's one question right. Yay!
I like how
yeah.
I just honorable mention defeating the evil dude Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. All right.
He was and still is. All right. Question 3. Phase 4 of the MCU has focused primarily on television shows premiered on Disney Plus, starting with WandaVision and ending with She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Of these television shows, which has been the most highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes? We have Loki.
Mm-hmm.
We have WandaVision. We have Miss Marvel. We have Moon Knight, and we have Hawkeye. Which of these is the most highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes?
See, I don't follow ratings, and I have not looked into this, but I know that everyone had very, very positive and like, I don't know, blown expectations when it came to WandaVision. I feel like Hawkeye, Moon Knight didn't do as well. They weren't received as well. My toss up is between WandaVision and Miss Marvel. Because I feel like Miss Marvel brought in like a whole, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Demographic? Question mark? Maybe? I don't know if that's the right word. I'm gonna say WandaVision, but I have a strong feeling it's probably not. That's my answer. I'm locking in WandaVision.
All right. Well, your strong feeling is right.
Yeah. Oh no! Wait, no. Strong feeling. I'm wrong. No. It's Miss Marvel, isn't it?
Miss Marvel has a critic rating on
like
Rotten Tomatoes of 98%.
God damn it! I feel like I heard
that is how highly rated Miss Marvel is as a series, which I think I personally attribute it, I think, to the fact that of all of these series, most of them follow, kind of characters that are previously found in Marvel canon. Moon Knight obviously didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But Miss Marvel is unique that it follows the superhero trend. Like it starts off with a young girl who's getting powers. They did a really good job of telling her story. but,
Mhm.
like, it was received well by audiences, and it was received very well by critics by following all those pieces.
Mhm.
Um, so I was really surprised to find that too. I was like, "It's gotta be WandaVision, right?" Like, it would make the most sense, but nope.
Ah.
It has the highest rated score on Rotten
I
Tomatoes
feel like
by
I've even
critics.
heard that. I feel like someone has said that in passing, or I read that somewhere, and I should have went with Miss Marvel. God
Yeah.
darn it.
But hey, it's alright. That's still 1 out of 4 right so far, so good job.
Ah,
Oh, 1 out of 3, and then you have the chance to get 2 out of 4 with this next
yay!
one,
I
which I
have a
think you should be able
chance
to
to
get pretty
die.
easily. Alright, so this is our last question for this podcast today.
Mhm.
So, question 4. Of the original MCU actors of the Avengers, which of these actors/characters remains part of the current cast? This has
Oh,
multiple answers that can be correct. So you're looking at who's currently in the cast still. I will
like
list
who
it as
hasn't
follows.
left or died, kind of thing. Like their characters
Yeah,
haven't
or
left. Or
however you wanna put it in terms of that, because obviously there are some characters who have died who still have made appearances recently. I'd
yeah,
say it'd be you're looking at within the range of phase 4. So, like, everything past WandaVision in terms of the timeline
past
would
WandaVision,
be
but before Wakanda Forever, because that's like the
yes,
timeline of
correct.
Phase 4.
Mhm,
Okay.
yes. So, we have Chris Evans as Steve Rogers or Captain America. We
Mhm.
have Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark/Iron Man. We have, uh Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner
Mhm.
or the Hulk.
Oh, you did it
And then we have
backwards.
Scarlet. Yeah, then we got Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff or Black Widow.
Mhm.
We've got Jeremy Renner as Clint Barton, otherwise known as Hawkeye, and then we
Mhm.
have Chris Hemsworth who plays Thor. Which of these remain part of the current cast of characters?
I just want to say, I hope that Jeremy Renner is recovering well still. I hope everything's
Hmm.
going on. For those of you who don't know, over the Christmas and New Year's long weekend, Jeremy Renner had a bit of a snowplow accident.
Yes.
And he was hospitalized. He like literally almost died.
Hmm.
So I just hope I know he's recovering well. I hope he continues to do so. Knock on wood.
Yes.
But yeah. Okay. Um. Huh. I know. I know Bruce Banner is. It was in She-Hulk. So they're still part of it. Phase 4 at least. Hawkeye
Mhm.
was. Thor was. So I think those are 3. So Thor, Hawkeye, and Hulk. Steve Rogers died at the end of uh Endgame, which was
Mhm.
phase 3.
Mhm.
Same with Tony. Not those two. And then Natasha died in Infinity War. But but
Mhm.
her movie came out after. So
Right.
I'm gonna say so this current cat that's still there. So yeah, I'm gonna say Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Thor
Okay.
that are still a part of the cast.
Yes. I would be inclined to say this one's a bit more nuanced, so I'm inclined to say that you're right. Um,
Oh.
with this one, it's a bit tricky because technically speaking,
Mhm.
Black Widow had been filmed prior to Phase 3,
Mhm.
or yeah, in Phase 3, and was meant to be put out sooner than it ended up getting released. And
Okay.
then technically Natasha had come, after WandaVision, even though it would have been prior to that. Um, and so
Mhm.
I'm inclined to think I would say you're correct,
Okay. But
though
Black
I
Widow
feel
is
like
not a
it's
correct answer,
but I
technically.
feel like yes, I feel like at the same time though, I don't know if we'll see her character anytime soon now they've got Yelena in the mix.
That's true. Yeah.
But it's not confirmed yet though. It's very possible. But the other
Yeah.
3 have not made
But
any
that's the
Marvel
thing.
cameos since Phase 3.
Well, that's the
Other
thing
2
though.
anyway.
It's rumored though that RDJ will.
Mhm.
So it could be trick question because if you're talking about things that like are to come, then like Black Widow and Tony could still show up.
Right.
Uh,
We've got no idea. But all we know for sure is that Chris Evans is basically done
yeah.
with
Yeah.
with the MCU. He's moved on.
Yeah. I yelled.
Yeah.
I ranted last week about my thoughts on his storyline. So if you want to know my very strong opinionated thoughts on the ending of his story, go check out the other episode. It will
Yes.
be in the YouTube playlist, or you can find it on our Twitter, which is the grandparents,
Precisely.
or it's grandparents pod, not the grandparents pod. Haha.
Yes.
Yeah. So 2 out of 4. Do you have
Yeah,
a
2 out of
bonus
4.
question for me to,
Do you want a bonus
maybe
question?
win? Yeah.
I don't have one listed, but if you give me actually, oh, here, you know what? You know what? Here, I can
Mm,
give this one because I've talked about it before in the past, and I can say this off top of my head. All
okay.
right. So I'll just this is a very organic question, but I know the answer, so it's guaranteed.
Okay.
So one of my favorite X-Men characters, Kitty Pryde, um, one of her special backstories, well, actually her actual
Oh.
backstory is that she hails from a town that I know of in Illinois. She is it from my home state. So, which of these cities is where Kitty Pryde hails from?
Oh my god. I don't
Ready?
know
Ready? Ready for some?
X-Men.
I know. Well, too bad. You get this question. This is your question. All
Okay.
right. Is she from Rockford,
Mhm.
Arlington Heights,
Mhm.
Aurora,
Mhm.
Deerfield, or Libertyville?
Louisville?
Libertyville.
Libertyville. Oh my god.
So that was Rockford,
Mhm.
Arlington Heights,
Mhm.
Aurora,
Mhm.
Deerfield, or Libertyville.
You said a different one. There's another one in
No,
there. You said
no.
say them again. Rockfield?
Rockford,
Rockford.
Rockford, Arlington Heights,
Mhm.
Aurora,
Mhm.
Deerfield,
Mhm.
or Libertyville.
God. I either want to say
Those
the
are the
second or
5.
last one. Second one was
Here, I'll write them out because you're trying to refer
something
to them.
Heights.
I have a no 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 no
I don't think it's that
no no
one.
no 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 no
Arlington
no no
Heights
no 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 no
or
no 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 no.
Liberty something.
There you go.
I feel like it'd be very fitting for a superhero movie to have her from Liberty. You're liberating, Phil, but I'm gonna go with Arlington Heights.
Okay.
I'm wrong.
You are incorrect. So
Fuck.
geographically, you're pretty close. You wouldn't
Oh?
know that though.
Oh.
She's from Deerfield,
Ah!
which you wouldn't know. But the fun fact for me is that because my mom was born there.
Oh, nice.
So yeah. Sorry, I just geographically added
Well,
myself, at least in that context. Sorry,
whatever.
mom. But yeah.
Sorry, Mom. Well, whatever.
Well, you got 2
I
out of 5. You're
yeah,
welcome.
I should have kept my 50%. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, guys, let us know how you did over on Twitter if you got all 5 of these right or if you got some of them right. You can tweet us at grandparents pod. You can let us know in the Discord or you can comment down below on the YouTube video or the podcast video. New podcasts come out every Wednesday at 10 a.m. EST and 6
Yes.
p.m. EST on the same day on YouTube. And guess what, guys? We're on Spotify now. I probably should have said this at the beginning of the episode, but I also posted it on Twitter. So if you're listening on Spotify, let us know. Leave a comment. I'd like to know who's listening. But that will wrap up our episode today. Again, all the places that I listed, you can let us know your answers and your questions and all that lovely stuff. Kano, do you have any final words?
Um, I guess I would just say it's March, which means that we're gonna be
Mhm.
heading into spring soon in
Yes.
the area known as North America. If you're elsewhere, then sorry, you probably aren't getting spring anytime soon.
L.
Um, L plus ratio. Um, but yeah, I just want to say, look forward to the new season that's upcoming,
Mhm.
and just be excited for all the new possibilities that await us in the near future.
Yeah.
Those are my hopeful words of encouragement.
Yeah. All right. Well, we love you guys very, very much. We hope you guys have a good day or night or wherever you're
Have good day.
listening. Have good time. Have good time. Uh be good people, do good things, and we'll see you next time. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.